Yay, it's working. Hey guys. We had some technical difficulties today, so sorry that we are about 8 minutes late, and we may even be on a different link than we were before, um, simply because the first one was not working. So we'll give you
Yeah.
guys just a moment to join us.
And if you are seeing this, then you're definitely able to watch the replay. And we do have some exciting news to make sure that our tribe, people who want to hear this message and have these real conversations, can find us easily. So we'll definitely explain that at the end. That way we can make this process a little easier, find better ways to stay in touch and communicate with one another. So we'll describe that at the end.
Yeah, so if you are coming in, just drop in the chat where you're joining us from and what's happening with you. And of course, we love to keep up with you and your babies.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us all about it.
Yes. How old are your babies and where are you in this entrepreneurial journey? Because we're all in different areas, different levels. We're all doing the thing.
So let's jump right in, Nicole. What
Yeah.
are we talking about today?
So I wanted to, for anyone new who's coming in and finding us, I wanted to just quickly introduce ourselves. Again, if you're brand new here, like who are these two ladies talking and what are we talking about and why do we feel like it's important to come on here and chat? So my name is Nicole Mace. I'm the Systemize CEO, and I help mama coaches and consultants scale with simple systems, dynamite digital programs, and accountability in community. And I am a mama of a 3-year-old, almost 4. She will correct me. And I've been in online business entrepreneur journey for about 4 years and finally feeling like I've found what I love. So I'm kind of still, I feel like I'm a little bit of a newbie in that area, but the online business world, I'm not new to.
Awesome. And so, me, I am Spring Richardson Perry. My business is called Time to Spring Forward. I have two facets to it, coaching and consulting. So, I do career transition coaching and I do organizational effectiveness and strategic planning consulting. And I have 4 kids. I have a 3-month old, I have a 6-year old, a 7-year old, and an 11-year old. So I have been on this entrepreneurial journey for officially 2 years, but I was kind of doing this side business um, with my full time job, like maybe
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a year or two before I stepped out and did this full time.
for sure.
So, so that is who we are,
Yeah.
and um, today what we thought about, Nicole and I, with the Mompreneur Playbook was to come to you guys and talk to you guys about um, what this mompreneur journey looks like for us, because it's so different
Yeah.
than those who have kids who are grown or don't have
Mhm.
kids at all.
Mhm.
Their time is different than our time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we have to
absolutely.
go ahead.
The journey just looks different. And Spring and I were just having conversations around, how we're learning to grow our business, where we're getting that advice from, what strategies are coming our way, and who is putting out those strategies. And so we just really felt a juxtaposition or a just a difference between what their life looks like versus what ours looks like. And so we wanted to come together. We knew we were obviously not the only mamas out there who are, hey Errol, only mamas out there who are really building a business as we're growing a family. And so we wanted to make sure that you are seen and heard, and we are you. So, and Errol is, thanks for joining us, Errol. He is a fellow business processes consultant. So he has taught me a little bit of how this world works. He's an expert. So, yeah, thanks so much for the support. So today's message is for myself as much as for everyone else. This is what I needed to just tell myself over and over again, which is just because you can does not mean that you should.
Oh, that is powerful.
Yes. And I literally just had to tell myself that over and over again this past quarter. So really understanding as an entrepreneur, and usually you are an expert in a specific niche or a field, and you can do a lot, especially as a mom. You know that you can take on a lot, but really the power of being able to focus your time and energy is the key to achieving that dream life that you're wanting without burning out. Like that's the key.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to really be able to take your business to new heights or just experience different levels of entrepreneurship, it is essential to being able to focus your time and energy on those things that are going to get you to that next level, whatever it may be. It's different for everybody. It's each level is different. It's going to look different for everyone. So being able to focus your energy in the right places is key to being able to get to that next level. And so
Exactly.
we're going to be talking about that today. And we are excited to talk to you guys
Yeah.
about this because both
Yeah.
of us have had some challenges with this. So we are definitely in this with you guys.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about why we think this happens. Why do we think this is such a struggle for mompreneurs? And then give you 3 kind of tangible steps that you can do to identify what are your hell yeses, where should you be focusing that time and energy, and how you can easily identify, is this me just taking on more things because I can, right? Because we have that mentality of that superwoman syndrome, as I like to say. Or are we honing our time and energy to get to the next level that we want to be at?
Yep. So let's jump right in, Nicole.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start this off and say I'm gonna make a statement. I really think that women are taught to be more people pleasers than others. Not saying that, we're the only ones, but I just feel like in society we are taught that it's important to serve others, that our own value could be based on the happiness of people around us, right? It's our job to kind of keep everything going and make everyone happy. And I'm absolutely sure that men feel this too. But as moms, our worth can be easily attached to serving others. And that really just pulls us into that superwoman syndrome.
Absolutely. And then we start feeling like we are responsible for doing all the things.
Right.
And then your goals and your focus gets kind of jumbled because it's
Yes.
like, oh, I have to do this, but wait, this has to come first. But wait, before I can do this and this, I have to do this. And so it just starts to spiral kind of out of control for me, especially
Yes.
because
Yes.
I have so many things that require my attention at any given moment that I can sort of forget what is my primary focus. So, we are really going to dig in today on how to determine what your focus is, how to hone in on that, and really stay true to that.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's just talk about when Spring and I were discussing like this topic, like this statement, which rung true for us so much. We thought, well, why is this such an issue for people, for women, like in our generation, or is it more so just being moms who are business owners, right? So we actually started talking about a really interesting concept of that. If you are, I consider us like elder millennials. Right? Like we
Don't use that word, Nicole.
right?
Elder. Oh my gosh.
Like we are, listen, we know what the world looks like without the internet, but we also had the chance to grow up with the internet and with the access to, pulling the globe to a smaller place. And so I feel like we're caught in between this transitional period of society where there's like half of us that more relate to Gen Xers who were still a little bit more in the traditional sense of, moms are taking care of the household. Like that is our job. We take care of the household. We take care of everyone in the house. But also in this transition of moms can be badass CEOs, right? So like we're in this like we can't let either ball drop because we are the generation that's doing the transition. Not saying many people before us laid that huge foundation and others will take it so much farther. But I feel like just at least for my friends I'm speaking with, my colleagues I'm speaking with, we definitely feel so much of the equal pull between the two worlds.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And
Yeah.
as like you said, as millennials, we know what the world is like before technology had this big boom. But now that we're in the thick of this technological revolution, I would call it, we have to sort of go back to those basics so that we can maintain our focus and achieve our goals and really do the things that we set out to do. Because if we let all of these things throw us off, we're never going to get the things accomplished in the time frame that we set for ourselves, and then we'll be discouraged.
Absolutely. So yeah, just exactly what you're saying. Pulling your focus, first of all, being aware if that is what you're feeling, right? Like if you sit back for a moment, you're like, wow, I really feel like I cannot let the balls fall on either end, or the rope, have any lax on either end. We want to, I'm a visual person. So I always think about, okay, I only have so much time and energy in the day, especially as mamas, right? But we want to think about, you can kind of tap on your goal, right, with the finger, or you can ball up your fist and you can punch. So we've got to make sure that we're protecting our energy and our time and keep that focus. Okay. So I think we've clarified what we're talking about, why this could be happening. And I think it's time to dive into 3 ways to determine what your yeses can be. So you have an easy way to identify, what do I need to say no to? When do I need to say no to it? And what do I say yes to make sure that I am going towards my dream life versus just keeping the plate spinning, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this first one is, we know what we're going to say, right? Decide what your priorities are, not what society's priorities are. What are yours? So I always have this, when I'm working with other mompreneurs, I feel like we have this mom guilt that can come crashing down on us.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It can just, we would have a great day, just going along, doing our thing, kicking ass, taking names. And then all of a sudden you have this rush of like, oh my goodness, am I not doing what I need to be doing as a mom? Like instantly, right? It just kind of crushes you.
My kids do a really good job of making sure I feel it too. They'll be like, well, I'm hungry and you're not feeding me. And mind you, they'll just have had breakfast 2 hours ago. So they're not hungry. They just want to bother me. But they do a really good job of making you feel bad. And so you have to reassure yourself.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not a neglectful parent. I do have my own shit that I need to get done.
Yeah.
So, setting those priorities is essential.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that instead of being able to say, like I'm a mom or I'm a, entrepreneur, like it is very true that you can be a mom and fill in the blank, right? No one said you have to pick a lane. So let's just always make sure that that is a statement that we're coming back to. All right. So deciding what your priorities are. Let's dive in with, let's envision that future self, right? What do you want your dream life to look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? Who does she look like, right? So if you can imagine how she feels as a mom, as a business owner, as an individual. Are you full of peace? Have you reached your business goals? What are your kiddos achieving? What are they doing? What does that feel like and look like? That is going to outline your priorities.
Most definitely. When we see and I'm thinking about as an educator,
Mm-hmm.
when I would be looking at the end of the year and I'm thinking, okay, what do they need to learn for this end of the year test? What's going to be on it?
Right.
And what do I need to do to get them to understand these things that's going to be on the test? And so that brings us into what our next step is going to be. And it's sort of that backwards design, because
Right.
you're thinking about what your future self looks like, what you want your future self to be, the things you want in place, and then you go backwards to think about how you're actually going to get there. So we
Mm-hmm.
have the big picture goal in mind, and then we're thinking about, okay, if I want this, just for instance, if I want this big $500,000 home, what is it that I need to do to save up? Where do I need my credit to be at? What do I want my monthly payments at? Because that's going to determine how much I need to put down in the first place. Do I need to sell? Do I have a home that I need to sell first? How long is that going to take? What does the market look like? What's going to be the return on my initial investment for my first house? And what can I use to put it towards that? So these are all the things that you're thinking about in this example of buying this $500,000 home. And then you start to really get down to the nitty gritty details of how you're going to do that. So you might say, okay, well, I'm going to put a $250,000 down payment. So when I sell my first house, I'm going to make $100,000 off of it. So now I need to save up another 150, and this is going to give me those manageable payments that I want.
Right.
And then you also start to look at your credit score. Okay, well, if I have a higher credit score, say like a 750 or so, then I get a better interest rate. So if my credit is currently at, say, 650 or 700, what do I need to do to get it to 750?
Mm-hmm.
So you start to pay down credit cards, minimize your debt, don't start opening up new debt. And those are all of the steps that you're going to take so that you can get that $500,000 house, right?
Yeah, I love the analogy. Yeah. It's so good. I loved how you start with this idea and you break it all the way down so that you have tangible steps. So that's what I love to do with my mompreneurs who are building simple systems is, yes, you have this goal, but let's make sure it is specific, right? Let's make sure that we can back up all the way. What are the milestones from the final milestone before you hit that goal all the way back down to where you are right now, and how are we going to incrementally get there? There's something called lagging indicators and leading indicators. So leading is what you're doing on a consistent basis based on those tangible steps. They're actually going to create outcomes that's going to build the staircase. Those are the lagging indicators. So we've got to make sure that you are putting in the right steps to get to that dream. So absolutely backwards design, something that Spring and I are diving into is getting our doctorate degrees. So, let's just add that to the pile. Why not?
Why
But
not?
we know that because of all of the things that we've achieved so far, because we are able to handle mom life, building a business, and academia, we know that it's all about building in those routines, those little tangible steps to climb the mountain step by step. We're not saying we're going to go get the doctorate. We've got to shut down the house. Y'all have to fend for yourself, right? Like we're shutting down the business. Like, no, we know that it's achievable if we have a clear focus and we can break it down to achievable steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. 1,000 times yes. Those bite-sized
Yeah.
pieces, biting off in small chunks. Again, this is my educator side coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're scaffolding.
Yes, we are scaffolding. Yes, and I love those bite-sized actionable steps that we
Right.
have to get to that one big picture. And
Yeah.
so,
So as long as you can hone that focus And you can decide, you know what, my job is not to do everything. My job is to do the right things. Okay. So when you're able to have that clear focus, then taking those tangible steps will get you somewhere. You're not going to be on a hamster wheel because you have a straight line kind of focus on what your goals are. So, so I can't believe you're getting darker. It's amazing. Yeah, you know what? We have the same feeling sometimes. Like, what are we
Right?
doing? But honestly, it's like we came back to our number one way to determine your yeses is what does that future self look like? One day I'm going to be Dr. Nicole Mace, like, period. End of story. And so, right? And so I know that that is my part of my future self, my future identity. And so I'm going to start now with very small steps. Like, girl, one assignment a week is what I'm making sure that I'm getting done.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's how I like to look at it too. I don't start until September, but I started to, the whole idea was daunting to me, and that was one of the things that has
Right.
kept me from getting started for so long. But it's like, if I can do all of these other things that I've
Exactly.
been doing, it's like, okay, girl, you got this. You can do this one little thing too. And so
Yeah.
taking it one step at a time, even
Mhm.
in your business,
Exactly.
that's how you get to the one big step. You take the several small steps to get
Right.
there. So don't feel like you're not making
Mhm.
progress, because you are. Even if this week you say, well, I'm going to you know, try to get in touch with 10 new people to see if there's some new business that I can drum up. Well, that's 10 new people for the week is manageable. It's 2 people a day for
Right.
the 5-day work week. And it's not
I
something
think, yeah,
that's
that's,
just
yeah.
totally outlandish. So,
Yes,
you
yeah. I
know,
think we can, yeah, yeah. Yes, do this with us. Jump on. You already have an EDS. What do you just need dissertation left? What is this? You're ahead of us. Yeah, I think that I just want to do a little recap here and making sure that number one, you are envisioning your future self and you are backwards planning from there. Backwards planning is meaning that you are essentially creating a strategic plan. So you are identifying what do those milestones look like from the very top, achieving it back down to where you're at. And then what are those leading indicators? Meaning, what are you going to be doing on a consecutive basis to climb that mountain one step at a time? So, our third way to determine your absolute yes for making sure you are staying focused and achieving your ultimate goals is understanding the decision making process. So you're going to know your priorities. You're going to make sure that those priorities are aligned with your future self. And here it comes, ladies. You are going to say no to things that do not align with your future self, with that future vision that you have. And here is what I had to say to myself. We say it together, Spring and I. Just because you can, just because you're intelligent, capable, large skill set, tons of education to back it all up, just because you can does not mean that you should. And if you
right.
say no, it is not because you can't, right? So I have such a problem. Spring, I know you're nodding your head, and please let me know, anyone listening and in the chat, let me know if this is ringing true for you. When you say no to something, do you immediately think that, well, whoever I'm saying no to thinks that I can't do it? Right? Does anyone else have, please let me know if I'm not the only one with that weird hang up.
We definitely, and Nicole and I talked about this. We both had that fear where it's like, if we say no, people will think we're incapable of doing it. But guess
Mhm.
what? When we talked about it, we were like, who cares what they think? Because I know I can do it, but I'm saying no because I don't have the capacity to do it in
Mhm.
this moment. If I'm
Mhm.
doing A, B, C, and D, and you're
Mhm.
asking me to do also X, Y, Z in addition to that A, B, C, D, I'm going to say, well, no, because I'm already doing A, B, C, D, and I don't have
Mhm.
space to do X, Y, Z. So, yes, I can. And here's how I would do it. However, I'm not going to do it because I don't have
Exactly.
the space to do it.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. And Kieta is saying, yes, saying no feels so hard, especially for ambitious women. I think like we have, again, part of that elder millennial. We are here to prove that we can have a seat at the table, and we stretch ourselves to expand our capacity. But really, instead of being able to take strong steps up that mountain, we're now just crawling because we feel like we've got to prove it to everyone else. Right? Get it? Yes. Thank you for coming through. Right? This is something real. So being able to know your goals, align your steps and your energy and your time to those goals, and then guarding your energy and your time is more about the fact that you know what you can do. And if you are able to ball up your fist and punch instead of just tapping on everything you're trying to do, that it's you're unlimited at that point.
Yeah. And then you want to make sure that you keep your eyes on the prize, and that future that you envisioned, and that future goal that you're trying to get to, that all of the things that you are doing are leading up to achieving that goal. And so if the opportunity, if someone comes to you, and then you have an opportunity for you, or they want you to do something, does that support your growth and what you're doing? Is that helping you to hone your skills? Is it giving you the opportunity to make connections that can help you achieve that goal? Is it providing you with an experience that will enhance your resume, in terms of your repertoire of skills? Those are the things that you want to think about as you continue to work towards those goals.
Yeah. Amazing. So I'd love to hear in the comments if there's anything that you feel like, yes, you've had an opportunity come up, or you are doing some self-evaluation and determining right now what is working for you, what is not aligned with where you're wanting to go. And if you also have been struggling with, well, I can do this, I have the skill set, I have the education, I have the experience, I can definitely take care of this. But is that pulling me from where I want to go? So Kieta, yeah. Not saying yes, kicks on yes, imposter syndrome into overdrive. Yes, girl, that's exactly right. So exactly what we're saying, right? We say, yeah, we can take care of that because I can take care of almost anything, right? We can do almost anything. I will figure it out, right? But that imposter syndrome can definitely jump into the seat if we are not careful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what gets a lot of women, is us feeling that imposter syndrome. And so when we say no, it's fueling that fire of, ooh, do I really, like, they're not going to think that I know what I'm doing, or they're not going to think that I'm worthy of this opportunity, or
Yeah.
this is going to in some way affect my future opportunities in a negative way. But
Yes.
a lot of times people will respect you more for
Exactly.
saying no, and they can appreciate you knowing your limits.
Right. And you are elevating yourself to say, you know what, I have my goals and my dreams, and what you are offering me right now doesn't align to where I'm going towards, right? It's more of a respect for yourself and your earned experience and expertise than to say yes to everything and just be pulled so thin and
Yeah,
where you're
and
not proving yourself.
right. And then you're not doing anything effectively. And that's what could be impacting you negatively as well. It's like, I've stretched myself so thin that I'm
Mhm.
not doing anything to the best of my ability. And so now people are questioning what I am capable of doing.
100%. Yeah. Errol, yes, he's saying, yes, this is true. We've got to hold our own, I keep saying energy because we only have so much of it, right? And we can do a lot to try to keep it, but it's really about setting boundaries for ourselves. And then those boundaries will show through to someone else. So,
Yep.
yeah. So definitely take a moment today at some point to just do a quick overview of where your energy is going. And I've heard people say like, well, jot down, how much time you're spending on each thing. Not even asking you to do that. Just think about what is in your week today, in your week, takes a lot of your energy. For example, I had a previous client that I was putting so much energy into this work and I love supporting her, but I didn't realize how much of my energy was actually being devoted to that one client versus the other people I was serving, right? So just do a little recap on if what you're doing right now, where your time and energy is going, if that is aligned to where your future or what your future is going to be. Absolutely.
I love it. And then remember to give yourself grace because, again, remember you're not just an entrepreneur, you are a mom and. And so that and is all the other things, a mom and a wife, a mom and an entrepreneur. You could be, whatever other obligations you have in addition to being a mom, those are the things that you have to take into consideration as you're setting these goals and as you're working towards achieving them. And you want to make sure that you give yourself grace because without that, you're going to beat yourself into the ground. Mm-hmm. You're going to really, really foster this negative energy that's not going to be conducive to you getting anything done.
Right. Yeah. And just having, working on your mental fitness that's part of observing your mindset. So are you in a negative space right now? Do you feel like you're not doing enough, like you're not moving fast enough, you're not achieving enough fast enough? It's like, you can tell what's been on my mind. Or are you able to observe that and say, wow, that's really interesting that I have this perspective that I'm never doing enough. I wonder why, right? So being able to observe that versus just feeding into it. So giving yourself grace. This is a journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint, right? You're building your future. This is not just about fast cash. And so I want this conversation to continue because especially in the chat, we have quite a few who are like, yes, this is me. And we knew we're not the only ones. We knew this is definitely a conversation that needs to be had because we hear you, we see you, we are definitely, we know this journey looks so different to others who are not in this season of life. So I just wanted to plug in here that we've created a Facebook group, free Facebook community. So find us at the Mompreneur Playbook Facebook group. Join us. We can have an ongoing conversation right there. And then Spring and I will be providing different resources, things that have really helped us, and make sure that the conversation continues. Because if you find the right community, it's like lightning in the bottle, right? When you're having a bad day, you come in the community and people hear you and we see you and we can support you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So go find us on Facebook, guys, and then you can put your questions in there as well if you have any additional questions for us or need some tips on how to do things or what have you. That community is for supporting and then also promoting. Tell us what you do in your business or what you're looking to do, and we'll see if we can get you connected with some of the right people to help elevate and uplift your business.
Okay. Yeah, we can definitely help each other. I do want to say this last comment. I've not been talking to your therapist, but maybe we should do the same therapist and have the same conversation. But like Spring and I were coming to realize, like there's probably so many women out there that need to have this conversation because I remember a couple of years ago, I was searching like different resources for people who have young kiddos trying to build a business. And there just wasn't a lot out there. So here we are. Join us. We're going to do this together. And thanks so much for joining us today.
Bye, guys. We will see you in 2 weeks.